Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines!
With only 5 races remaining in the 1990 Busch Grand National Series schedule, current point leader Chuck Bound has good news. He is back on the short tracks where he has won 6 times this year. The bad news for Bound is that this man, Jimmy Hensley, his closest competitor, is at his home racetrack. He lives just 9 miles away in Horse Pasture, Virginia. If Hensley can win today, it'll be a great race for him. Series short track racing here in Virginia. Now, most of these drivers cut their teeth on the short tracks, and so a lot of short track veterans will be trying to hang on to the points they've garnished all year long. Chuck Bound, our current point leader, trying to keep in front of a challenging Jimmy Hensley and Steve Grissom, and a couple of other young drivers, Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace, rounding out the top 5. I'm joined again today by 2-time NASCAR champion Ned Jarrett. And Ned, the points battle is certainly an issue today, but also a lot of other stories up front. Some young drivers trying to make a name for themselves before this season's over.
Ed Barrier and Jeff Burton both qualified very well for this race, Jerry. Neither of them had a victory in this series, and it couldn't come at a better time than here today as they try to impress some potential sponsors because they don't have their plans worked out for 1991. Meanwhile, the point leader, Chuck Bound, had a poor qualifying run here because of circumstances. A car blew an engine 2 or 3 cars in front of him in qualifying, and he had to go out on a slick track. He was one of the fastest cars in practice, but now he finds himself mired back in the field. So he has his work cut out for him if he's going to get up towards the front here today.
Well, talk about a victim of circumstances. Take a look at our pit reporter, Benny Parsons. That's a 150-lap race. Now, take a good look at him now. Benny, tell us why.
Jerry, you just told him, 150 laps. That's only 75 miles on this half-mile racetrack. If any driver comes in and visits me in the pits today, they are not going to win. So I guess I'll just have to sit here and play solitaire all day. Man, if I had a red jack.
Benny, the black 9, that's it, the black 9 on the red 10. You got it, big guy. Oh, what a tough job in the pits for Benny Parsons today. 150 laps of Busch Grand National Series racing action coming your way. The Xerox 150, a purse of over $75,000. We are back in Martinsville, Virginia, at Martinsville Speedway for the Xerox 150. Let's take a look at the Sears Die Hard starting grid. Becoming the 16th different pole winner for 1990, qualifying the Raven Boats Buick at 90.499 miles per hour. Rick Mast will lead the charge, along with Robert Presley outside of row 1. Row 2, the veteran Tommy Ellis, the youngster Jeff Burton from South Boston, Virginia. Back to row 3, young drivers Ed Barrier and Bobby Dotter, some of the hungry men Ned Jarrett was talking about moments ago. Jimmy Hensley, the veteran, inside row 4, and Max Prestwood, the Winston Racing Series national champion. Back to row 5, Elton Sawyer and the Winston Cup competitor Jimmy Spencer. Row 6, a 3-time winner here, Tommy Houston and Kenny Wallace. Row 7, 5-time national champion Jack Ingram and the young sophomore sensation Bobby Labonte. Row 8, Dave Mader and Billy Standridge. Back to row 9, Wayne Patterson from late model stock car ranks and Bobby Hamilton. Row 10, there's our point leader, Chuck Bound, along with McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania driver Tom Peck. Row 11, Jack Sprague, Dale Jarrett. Watch him to come from deep in the pack. Row 12, Cecil Eunice, a running Arc of Fame, and Steve Grissom. Back to row 13, Jay Fogelman, a young driver who will make a name for himself very much next year in this series, along with Patty Moise. Bobby Moon, late model stock car ranks, and Tommy Sigmund from the Hickory Speedway area. Back to row 15, Dave Resendez and Mike Porter making a re-entry into racing from Princeton, West Virginia. Row 16, L.D. Ottinger, along with Joe Nemechek. Getting set for the green flag, and then a 150-lap sprint race here. No pit stops, no fuel, no tires. Just turn left and hang on.
As Benny Parsons said, if they have to come into the pits, they're in trouble. They do not plan to make pit stops, just flat out running from start to finish. And Jerry, we got a national champion, the Winston Racing Series national champion, Max Prestwood, in the field here today. Had a good qualifying run, starting up in 8th place. So it'll be interesting to see. He has run a few short-track Busch Grand National races, but now that he's the national champion, a lot of eyes will be on him.
Crowd on their feet here, and a good afternoon crowd in Martinsville, Virginia, getting ready for the green flag. Pete Babb waving that flag, and the Rockbridge, Bath, Virginia driver, Rick Mast, trying to pull ahead, but he is door-to-door with Robert Presley in turn 1.
Presley trying to use that outside groove to sprint him off the turn, but it didn't quite work. As Mast holds on down at the inside, he should be able to get him going into turn 3. But look at Presley. He's hanging tight out there.
Trouble in turn 3, 4 cars involved. Heavy contact. One car, number 27, spun. There is Rick Mast. He has likewise been tagged. He has come to rest in the front straightaway. Car number 22, that's our pole sitter. getting some heavy contact in the right front. You see the Buick has been shoved in somewhat in the right front. He's trying to get the car refired. Now he gets the car moving a little bit. There's Rick Mast, likable driver, 33 years of age from Virginia. What a tough break for the Raven Boats car on the first lap.
That really is too bad because he was so pumped up. Has a new Winston Cup ride for 1991. Came here and win the pole, and very unfortunate for him.
Look what happened back in the pack here on that first lap. Headed up to turn 3. We're in the backstretch now, Ned, going into 3.
Tommy Houston in the blue and white number 6 down on the inside, but Jimmy Spencer in the car number 75. The black car looked like got tagged, and then the 27 of Elton Sawyer gets tagged by Spencer. The car number 56 slides into Spencer. That is Dave Mater.
Mater involved, Spencer involved. Now let's take a look at what happened up front with Rick Mast. He and Presley come together. Mast's car slides out of control, and he's coming across and will tag the pit wall. Right front, then right rear. Oh, what a break for Mast. Rick Mast has made his way to pit road. Let's check in with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, there's heavy damage to the right front of the automobile. They've knocked the fender completely off the car. They're underneath the car now trying to figure out just how bad the suspension is damaged. Man Averson is telling them what they need to do. They need to put a tire back on so they can... I'm right in the pit crew's way. I got to get out of the way. The car is going on jack stands, so he's going to be here for a lap or two. The car is going on jack stands, Jerry.
Well, so much for your game of solitaire, Benny Parsons, and so much for a great qualifying effort for that man, Rick Mast. He sits on pit road here in lap number 3. We told you there was exciting short track racing action to come your way. We only got 1 lap under green. We are back with plenty of Busch National Series racing action after this word from our sponsor. Back at Martinsville Speedway, we are under caution for the first time this afternoon. A number of cars involved. The 2 heaviest damage, those of the pole sitter Rick Mast, who is still on pit road in the back straightaway, and the car number 75 of Jimmy Spencer. Now, Dave Mater has moved his car down the backstretch pit. There are pits on the front and back straightaways here at Martinsville Speedway, so they are pitting in the back straightaway. The field now single file behind the Pontiac safety car as Robert Presley, the youngster from Asheville, North Carolina, trying to pick up his first win of the 1990 year and his second overall Busch Series conquest here. He won a year ago in August at Orange County Speedway in his rookie season last year. Getting back to green, Pete Babb waving the green flag, and the field comes rumbling out of turn 4.
Well, of course, as opposed to the way it was before, Jerry, they start single file this time, so a little bit more operating room for Robert Presley, but he has plenty of pressure from Tommy Ellis.
That's Tommy Ellis in the red white car, car number 99. Now, they average a little over 90 miles an hour. They run up to 115 miles per hour on these straightaways. 2 very long straightaways and very, very tight turns. The lead to some there is Jeff Burton, and the car number 33 is Barrier.
What the problem might be, but he is backpedaling. Jack Ingram passed him a few laps ago, and Jack has run away from him. There's quite a distance between these 2 cars that we're seeing race side by side, and the next car up, which is Jack Ingram. Now Bobby Labonte looks like gets the measure of Houston.
Battling for 14th and 15th. That's Dale Jarrett, the Nestle's Crunch car number 32, and Chuck Bound in the Nescafe Classics Pontiac. They are in 63 car. They are 14th and 15th currently. Now, they qualified back in the pack, and you may wonder, well, why if these cars are running so well, aren't they up in the top 10? There's a look at Dale Jarrett, a 2-time winner this year, currently being shown in 14th place. Well, Dale, remember when he won at Darlington, he qualified 28th. A couple of weeks ago at Richmond, he qualified 27th. He has not been qualifying that well this year, but the car has run well.
Doesn't qualify well at all. Of course, we mentioned Chuck Bound was a victim of circumstances in qualifying. He started in 19th position here today, but he has a fast race car if he can just get up through the pack.
And Steve Grissom, just on the right of your screen, that's the Big Mama Meat Snacks Oldsmobile. Grissom, a 2-time winner. This year he won at Pulaski County Speedway.
Caution on the track, Jerry. Debris over in turn 2. Reason for this caution.
And that indeed will help these cars you're watching right now. Jarrett, Bound, and Grissom. We were just talking about these fellows trying to make their way to the front. It'll give them a chance to line back up single file and get a running start at the lead cars. Lap 15. We are under caution for the second time today here at Martinsville Speedway. Debris in turn 2. Robert Presley, an impressive opening here in this Busch Series event. The 31-year-old driver from Asheville, North Carolina. Lots of laps left. Stay with us. Beautiful fall afternoon for racing here in Martinsville, Virginia. The lovely Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, just above the North Carolina-Virginia line. And One guy who's got to really be enjoying the afternoon is Robert Presley, who comes from a great racing family. His father, Bob Presley, a many-time track champion and short track winner up in the Asheville, North Carolina area, in the Hickory, North Carolina area. Robert Presley trying to get his first and possibly his biggest career Busch Series win. Leading early here. We're getting set for the green flag as he is being dogged by the veteran Tommy Ellis out of turn 4. Presley, then Ellis in the car number 99. The Goo Goo Clusters Buick.
There's one car back in the pack, car number 47, got off to a very bad start. The car was really slipping and sliding off of turn 4. Dale Jarrett and Chuck Bound, now about everybody else has gotten by him. He was running in the 13th position, but now going all the way to the back.
Was going to be a great day for Billy Standridge, a likable driver from Shelby, North Carolina. His car still not up to speed. He apparently has a tire going down. Back up front, Presley holding off the challenge of Tommy Ellis. Tommy Ellis is with fastest up freight.
I think when he hit the inside wall is what did the damage on the front steering there, Jerry. Rick was in 10th place in the point standings, but he was only 9 points ahead of L.D. Ottinger coming into this race. So this will be a tough race for him. Staying in the top 10 points.
Here's a battle back for 5th and 6th place. Make it 6th, 7th, and 8th. Car number 44, that was Bobby Labonte. Just moved out of your screen. That is Jack Ingram, the 5-time national champion. And you see right behind Jack is Bobby Hamilton.
And they're going by the National Winston Racing Series champion, Max Freshwood, in car number 77. Tommy Houston there now trying to move by in the car number 6, the Roads and Stores Buick. Jack Ingram having a good run here today, Jerry. It's one of the better runs that I've seen him have in quite a while. Jack has certainly had his problems in 1990. Hasn't won in a long, long time in Busch Grand National competition.
A lot of cars, nose to tail here. It's a tough place to pass here now. With the Winston Cup cars that run here on the same weekend as the Busch Series, Ned, it's enabled these guys to have a lot of rubber on the racetrack and be able to get maybe an outside groove, but they're really tightening it up there. There is Ingram as he gets the car number 11 as he gets passed by Bobby Hamilton. Bobby Dotter, son of 3-time ARCA Series champion Bob Dotter, and a great qualifying effort there. 6th, 7th, and 8th place cars. The 08 is Bobby Dotter. Then comes last year's Rookie of the Year, Kenny Wallace, in the car number 36. That's the Cox Wood Preserving car. And then, of course, the car number 44, Bobby Labonte.
And I'll tell you, he is making an impressive run, Jerry. He started in the 14th position and now has worked his way up to 8th position. Rick Masters back on track, but there's trouble off of turn 4.
A couple of cars coming together out of turn 4. One is the Jack Sprague car and Dave Resendez. That's Resendez's car you see sitting backwards there, just coming out of turn 4. Now Resendez jumps it in gear and jumps the throttle right in front of the leaders. That is Presley and Ellis as they came by. A pretty courageous move by Dave Resendez. He didn't want to lose the lap, but unfortunately, the leaders got by. They take the caution flag for the 3rd time today. Dave Resendez involved in a collision out of turn 4 with the car number 34 of Jack Sprague. We're under caution here for the 3rd time today at Martinsville Speedway. A great day for Robert Presley. Thus far, our leader. Stay with us. Lots of laps to come. Exciting Busch Series action. Don't go away. Back in Martinsville Speedway for the NASCAR 0x150, Robert Presley showing the way. Tommy Ellis, Jeff Burton, Ed Barrier, and Jimmy Hensley in the top 5. 6 through 10, a great run for Bobby Dotter, Kenny Wallace, Bobby Labonte, Bobby Hamilton, and the veteran Jack Ingram having one of his best runs of the year, currently being shown in 10th spot. 31 of 150 laps are complete. We are getting set for green flag racing action, and some of the veterans who did not qualify well are trying to sneak toward the front, but a young driver, 31-year-old Robert Presley, leads the charge. The green flag waves.
And boy, did he get off to a good start as far as Tommy Ellis is concerned. The Dave Resendez car with the lap down, he was trying to beat Robert Presley into turn 1, but there's trouble in turn 1.
2 cars spinning and tagging the wall. Bobby Labonte, the left of your screen, the car number 44, and Tommy Houston. Tommy Houston, the veteran driver, 45 years of age from Hickory, North Carolina, in the car number 6. There's the leaders coming by to take the caution flag once again for the 4th time today. Those 2 cars now get righted and headed in the right direction. Houston pulling down pit road where his sons, Scott, Marty, and Andy Houston, those 3 young crew, sort of all in the family for Houston. He pulls the Roses Stores Buick onto pit road.
Well, Jerry, evidently he has some major problems because he really needed to go around the pit, around the track if he could. Let's watch it as he goes into the turn. There's Houston on the outside. You can see the car getting loose. Apparently a tire went down or something. And there's Bobby Labonte. There must have been grease or oil or something on that track because Labonte had got up a little high as well and spun. He spun first, and Houston then spun around as well. Tommy Houston has gone a lap down.
Something possibly coming out of Tommy Houston's car as a Rosa Store Buick has now gone to pit road. Bobby Labonte makes his way into the pits in the back straightaway. We are under caution for the third time today in Martinsville Speedway. We said it would be exciting short track action, as always in the Busch Series. Don't go away. We are back in Martinsville, Virginia, the Martinsville Speedway, hosting the Busch Grand National Series here at stop number 27 on the 31-race $4 million tour. A great race thus far. 3 drivers in the top 5 who have yet to win in 1990, including our current leader, Robert Presley. Pontiac safety car pulls off the track over in turn 3, backed into the back pits. They are single file. 1 lap car moving to the outside. That's the car number 79 of Dave Resendez, who spun earlier, but the green flag waving once again from Pete Babb.
And he had a good running start as he beats Presley this time into turn 1. Trying to get his lap back. He goes high. And here's Tommy Ellis trying to get on the inside, and he spins.
Tommy Ellis has contacted the left side of Robert Presley, and Ned, you call it exactly. Ellis trying to squeeze in there. It looked like there might be moving. Now Ellis gets the car right at him, jumping on the brakes as Spencer and Labonte. No caution flag. We are still under green. Tommy Ellis does not lose a lap, but loses nearly half a lap of distance. There's Ellis, his car not handling well. Let's take a look again.
Well, you can see that Ellis tried to get down on the inside. He had room there, and then car number 59, Robert Presley, came down as he was trying to get under the 79 car and just squeezed Ellis out, and around he went.
Car number 63 slowing drastically. Big trouble possibly for Chuck Bound trying to hold on to that points lead. His car, the Nescafe Classic Pontiac, slowing on the inside of the track, and they are passing him. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, the car was misfiring badly when it went by me. He's still on the racetrack, but he has serious problems. The crew waiting for him to make the decision whether to stay out or come in. We'll check with the crew and let you know.
It has not been a good week. They were here last week and tested with that car, hoping to have a great run, a new race car, a car that's been very successful with them. I should say a very good race car, won 3 times this year with that car. And, of course, the crew chief on that car, Jeff Hensley, was taken to the hospital yesterday morning with a kidney stone. They carried him out of the racetrack, and about 3 hours later, they carried him back in. This could be an awful lot. A great break for that man right there, the fast, fair car of Jimmy Hensley. Currently second in the point standings. Hensley, the native of Ridgeway, Virginia, actually lives in the thriving metropolis of Horse Pasture, Virginia, and he's currently second in the point standings, and he could gain a lot today.
And he's 4th in this race, Jerry. Not too far behind the leader. We see Robert Presley, the Oldsmobile, car number 59, in the lead. Running second now is the car number 12. And here's Hensley trying to pass the lap car of Dave Resendez, but the car number 12 of Jeff Burton having a good run here, running in second place. Third is Max Barrier. Hensley is 4th, and Bobby Hamilton has moved all the way up to 5th.
4 of the top 5 cars have not won this year in Busch Series competition. Our leader, Robert Presley, being challenged by an impressive 22-year-old Jeff Burton from just 70 miles away in South Boston, Virginia. Let's check in the pit to see what the problem may be with Chuck Bound's car. Benny.
Jerry, you can imagine Hubert and Jeff Hensley, crew chief and owner of the 63 Nescafe Pontiac, are too busy to talk. But the car, they told me, is on 5 cylinders. They don't know what happened, but they're going to stay out there and ride around as long as that car has 1 breath in it. And he will not be in the pit until the car falls apart.
They can't blame him for that, Benny, because he needs to earn every point that he possibly can. So Chuck Bound, knowing he has no chance of winning this race today, so he just stay out there and ride.
What a tough break for Chuck Bound, but a great opportunity for some young drivers. We talked about it at the top of the show. Some youngsters really getting a chance to strut their stuff in front of the Winston Cup cars that are also here for the same weekend of racing at Martinsville Speedway. Robert Presley, the right of your screen. And the youngster, Jeff Burton, 23 years of age, in second spot. Now,
and look at Bobby Hamilton. He's smoking the tires off of the turns, but he just passed Jimmy Hensley, Jerry, for the 4th position. And I don't believe that was tire smoke. I think there's something else wrong with that car, because a lot of smoke coming out of it as he comes off of the turns, and we get the word that he might be a possible candidate for a black flag, but he's running fast. Whatever the smoke is coming from is not hurting the speed of that Oldsmobile. Let's see as it comes off of the turn. Didn't look like quite as much smoke that time as we saw before.
Little smoke out from beneath the rear of the car. Now, this track awfully tough on rear gearing, isn't it, Ned? Because of all the horsepower you have to use coming off the corner.
Yes, very definitely. It is. They have to run such a low gear, and the black flag is coming out for Bobby Hamilton. A tough break for that young man because he was on the way towards the front. An announcement was just made here at Martinsville this weekend that he'll be running for Rookie of the Year honors next year in Winston Cup racing with Country Time Lemonade as his sponsor.
Tough break as you saw Hamilton peel off down the back straightaway pits. He was running in fourth spot, and there's Bobby Hamilton, Kip McCord, and the crew going to work on the Phil Martosi on the Oldsmobile. Hamilton pulls away. The Transportation Industry car, the TIC car, sponsorship of Hamilton out of Nashville, Tennessee. He's back on the track, but he has lost a lot of valuable time.
Jerry, we're talking about the gears. Yes, they have to run such a low gear on a track like Martinsville because they slow so much in turns. You mentioned they get up to 115 to 120 on the straightaways here, but they get down to perhaps 50 miles an hour in these turns, so they need a lot of gear to get them up off of the corner. Here's Bobby Hamilton back out there, and it's just the leader just lapped the point leader, Chuck Bowen, so he has gone a lap down. So anyway, when they turn so many RPMs with those gears, it does heat them up. Shouldn't be a problem though for 150 lap race.
Boy, Chuck Bowen has got to be sitting there just pounding on that steering wheel as they are dicing it up hot and heavy in the front straightaway. Jack Ingram lets an engine come unglued down in turn one, and you see Dale Jarrett, a great move to go to the outside. Ingram had a lot of smoke. Now, we thought he may have blown an engine. He started to slow, maybe just a little bit of brake smoke, Ned.
Well, I don't know. They came off of that turn four, 3 wide, and Tom Peck runs in and hits the car 08. Almost spins him out, but they get squared away. Boy, look at that pack back behind there. The blue car of Tom Peck down on the inside trying to get around Bobby Dodder as Dale Jarrett tries to get around the Steve Grissom car.
And the car number 25 will keep you abreast of that point battle. Hensley has just gone around Chuck Bowen, who's...
Hensley back up to fourth now in his quest to gain some points. As we watch this battle, this is for
6th and 7th place there. Hensley would have just been into 4th, and that would put the car number 36 of Kenny Wallace in 5th, and Grissom would be 6th with Jarrett 7th. There's Steve Grissom and Dale Jarrett as they go around the current point leader, Chuck Bowen. Chuck Bowen has not had a top 10 finish since August 11th, and it's been a tough couple of months for Bowen. A tough couple of laps for this man, Bobby Hamilton.
And he is, of course, as you can see, back in the pits. They can't figure out what's wrong with the car. Bennett, do they know what is the problem?
Man, they don't know. They really don't. NASCAR insisted they fix the smoking problem, so they brought it back in. They jacked up the right side of the car, trying to figure out where in the world the oil is coming from. The oil is hitting the exhaust system and creating the smoke. They don't know where it's coming from, but they're trying to figure it out. If we find out, we'll certainly let you know.
Well, Jack Ingram is out of the race, the 5-time national champion. We saw that smoke coming from his Chevrolet number 11 a little bit earlier, so he has now parked his Chevrolet.
And there is Chuck Bowen still circulating here just past the 50-lap mark, about a third of the way through. And back up front, Robert Presley showing the way. An impressive run by Presley, and also a great run by Jeff Burton in second spot. There's Presley in the car number 59. The car number 21 has had an engine come apart. That is Tommy Sigmund out of Hickory, North Carolina, in the Sigmund Racing Buick, one of the late model stock car champions from that area. Great short track driver. We are under green here. Great racing action at Martinsville Speedway. Robert Presley showing the way with a stiff challenge. Stay with us.
Presley's Crunch Pontiac off at full engine RPM. He brings the car and they take the spark plugs out, and Mike Brower, the engine builder, looks down in the spark plugs to see if it has too little or too much fuel going in it. This is the jets that they would use. They go inside the carburetor. They take off the float bowls. Mike is taking off the float bowl in the carburetor. This is the jet plate. These are the carburetor jets. The size of the hole determines the amount of fuel going inside the engine. Therefore, a lean or rich situation on the spark plugs. A bigger hole, more fuel. Smaller hole, less fuel. That, folks, is jetting the carburetor.
And they were jetting, and it certainly is, they were jetting those carburetors yesterday in qualifying practice. It was an overcast day, and they expected it to be damp and rainy this morning, which it was, and suddenly it's turned into a beautiful afternoon.
And it does make a difference in the size of jets they would use in the carburation, depending on the weather outside.
Getting set for more green flag racing action. A great run for some young drivers up front. Presley, Burton, and Barrier. 3 drivers who have not yet won in 1990. Right behind them, Jimmy Hensley, who stands to gain a lot in the points race. We're back to green flag racing.
Dave Resendez tried to get the jump again in the car number 79 to get back in the lead lap, but couldn't quite do it. Presley is strong here today.
Robert Presley, who has that crew chief, Ricky Pearson, who, of course, is the younger brother of Larry Pearson, not the youngest brother. That would be Eddie Pearson, but Ricky Pearson signed on with Robert Presley back about a month and a half ago, and Presley has been impressive ever since.
Of course, Ricky Pearson helped to guide his brother Larry Pearson to 2 national championships in this Busch Grand National Series, and he certainly knows the racetracks, knows what it takes under these race cars to make them go, and that has made a good combination. And Robert Presley told me yesterday that he sure is hoping and praying that Ricky Pearson will stay with him in 1991.
There's a battle back for 4th spot. Jimmy Hensley in the fast fair car, number 25, and the youngster Kenny Wallace in the car number 36. Wallace has yet to win this year. Yet to win in Busch Series competition at all. The last year's Rookie of the Year had a couple of great performances, including a pole on some of the super speedways. 4th, 5th, and 6th. As you see now, Steve Grissom and Dale Jarrett have caught that pack. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. They're all single file up the back straightaway. Speeds at about 110 miles an hour, 108, 112 possibly. They slow to around 55 or 60 to turns and jump back in that throttle. Really turn the RPMs. Some of the motor builders, you saw Mike Fryer a minute ago telling me they turn sometimes 85, 8,600 RPMs on some of these Busch Series cars, depending upon how it's geared here on the straightaway.
Contact there. That was Ed Barrier, the lap car of car number 79 of Dave Resendez, and that allowed Jimmy Hensley to pull right up on the back bumper. He had a notion to try to move inside, but Barrier closed that spot down there, so Hensley was not able to make the move.
That's sort of like knocking and letting him know you're there, I guess. No doorbells in the back of those cars, so
no.
All battling for position here. Now, the red car number 79, Resendez, is a lap down, as you heard us say a minute ago. He is running up there, but apparently holding up that lead.
Yeah, I think
line.
he is, Jerry. That's 3rd place, the car number 33 of Ed Barrier, and then the 4th place car of Jimmy Hensley, 5th of Kenny Wallace. There's 6th, number 31, Dale Jarrett running in the 7th position.
Those 5 cars to the right of your screen now as Barrier tries to get off the turn and get underneath. If he can open the door, they'll all follow him through. Ed Barrier in the car number 33 now slides on the inside beneath Dave Resendez. Resendez gets the brake coming off the turn. Some of the cars have already parked it this afternoon. Presswood Ingram and Tommy Sigmund, along with Tommy Houston, who had trouble out in turn 1, apparently an engine problem.
Now Barrier finally gets on the inside of Dave Resendez. That should allow him to get on by and maybe open the door. It does indeed for Jimmy Hensley to make the pass. Here comes Kenny Wallace. He'll try to make the move as well. So will all those other drivers behind him. If they can get up there soon enough while they got Resendez on the outside, they'll certainly try to keep him out there, because that's, ooh, boy, look at Steve Grissom. Looked like he got on the curbing down on the inside a little bit, almost bounced into the car number 79. I think, Jerry, that it's a little slick up high. The rain with the rubber that was put down in practice and qualifying yesterday, I think maybe the track is a little slicker. The rain washed all of that away, and that second groove is not working too good right now.
Closing in on the halfway mark, just a couple of laps away from halfway. They are battling all back through the pack, and there is Grissom and Jarrett. They have both gone around the Resendez car, who unfortunately spun and lost a lap just about 20 laps ago. We will show you where the leader is. That is Robert Presley there. 31 years of age, leading a youngster from South Boston, Virginia, Jeff Burton, in 2nd spot. Back in 3rd spot, Ed Barrier. A lot of young drivers hoping to get a win. Don't go away.
It's always satisfying
Halfway here in Martinsville Speedway, Busch Series racing action. Robert Presley qualifying on the front row, and the outside of the front row is led since the very first lap, and he is trying to hold off now the challenge. The Armor Star colors now being flown by Jeff Burton in the car number 12.
He is giving him a lot of pressure right now, Jerry. That's car number 12 working very well down on the low side of the racetrack, but Presley guarding that groove very well. If he makes one little bit of a slip, Jeff Burton will be there.
There's Jeff Burton, who started out in go-kart racing at age 8 on his first late model stock car race at South Boston Speedway, just about 70 miles from here in 1986. Went on to be a serious contender there, including the most popular driver at South Boston. As you see him going by the hapless car number 63, and what a tough break they had. In case you just joined us, they have had trouble. Apparently they have lost the cylinder in the chuck-bound Nescafe Classic Pontiac. They are on 5 cylinders, and he is helpless. He has to run around there underpowered and try to finish as many laps as possible.
Jerry, not too many races ago, he had a, over 400-point lead on Jimmy Hensley, but for 4 races in a row, he has lost points to Jimmy Hensley, and you would have thought he wouldn't be worried about points, but now that his car's only running on 5 cylinders, Hensley up there running in the 4th position, he's got to be worried about it. So that's the reason he's staying out there, trying to gain as many laps as he can and get as many points.
Back up front, indeed he is, Ned. Of course, you look at his finishes in the past month, he has not had a top 10 finish. Well, let's find out where the man who's chasing Chuck Bound is. That's Jimmy Hensley in the car number 25. Our leaders go by, Presley and Burton. Then comes Barrier, and there is Hensley.
Running in 4th place, having a good run here today. Knows that if he can at least hold on to that position, that he can gain a lot of points. And who knows what can happen. He still certainly is not mathematically out of it.
Jimmy Hensley, a 2-time most popular driver in the Busch Series ranks. We said this is his native racetrack. He has won 5 times, only twice in Busch Series racing here. He won twice in the old late model sportsman division, and he won once in the open wheel modified car. And here's the car number 31. Now, he has really made a move. Take a look. Started on lap 10 back in 16th spot, lap 30 to 15th to 10th, and now being shown in the 6th spot.
He has had a good run up through the field. Of course, a 2-time winner so far this year.
And Grissom has really climbed up in the point stand. He's currently being shown 3rd. He was not even in the top 5 when we went to Bristol, Tennessee just a few weeks ago on ESPN. He had a great run there, got into 5th, and then got into 4th after that run at Darlington, and now being shown in 3rd place after a great effort at Dover, Delaware just a week ago.
And there's a spin up in turn 4. It's Elton Sawyer in car number 27.
Elton Sawyer
on the track
for the 6th time today. We're going to have to go down there and put some liniment on that flagman's right arm as he has been waving that yellow flag. A rash of yellow fever here at Martinsville Speedway. The leaders now coming by. You see Elton Sawyer's car now sort of up on that curb, and now he backs it off the curb into the grass, and all that nicely manicured Clay Earls grass getting chewed up there. Let's take a look again, Ed.
Okay, what happened? He went in the turn on the inside of car number 96. He went in there so hard, Jerry, that the back end just got out from under him. There's Bobby Moon making a great drive. That young driver has come from way back in the pack, up in 10th place now. He started 27th, but he made a good move around Elton Sawyer, but Elton just went in there under the 96 and couldn't hang on to it. Well, it's in the grass where it's slick now.
And now he gets the car fired, and we will continue to follow the serial of the points battle. Remember now, Jimmy Hensley is in 4th place, but the current point leader, Chuck Bound, down on 5 cylinders, and they have to be scratching their heads in the pits. How about it, Benny?
Jeff, what is wrong with the car?
I guess we've either broke a valve spring or dropped the valve. We just lost the cylinder.
You have nothing to do except ride around, correct?
That's about it. You know, that's been the story of our season here for the last 3 or 4 races. But, you know, we've still got a pretty good point lead. We'll lose some points today, but we're not down by no means. So we'll keep riding right here and see if we can pick up some points and get out of here and still be leading this thing.
What'd you guys do wrong? I mean, the gods are not smiling on you all of a sudden.
No, I guess we used up all our luck through the middle of the season. We won like 6 races there in 3 months' time, but no, we've been real fortunate this year, and I really can't complain. But you know, things are getting pretty tight here for the Nescafe Classic Pontiac on these points, tighter than we want it to be, but I think we'll be okay.
Jerry's got to stand here and watch the car go around the racetrack slowly.
Boy, that's got to be agonizing for Chuck Bound and Jeff and Hubert Hensley, who are the car owners there, as they watch their point lead dissipate here at Martinsville. Stay with us. We'll be back after this. Back in Martinsville, Virginia for the Busch Series events, the ZRX 150, 150-lap event. Remember, if you have not seen the cars pit, it's because they will not pit during a 150-lap race. You heard Benny Parsons talk early on, and they do not pit for fuel or for tires. 150 laps here, just about 79 miles. And they are getting set for green once again. 6 caution flags, a lot of yellow flags being waved here, but Robert Presley doesn't mind at all because he's showing the way, headed for turn 1.
Well, he felt like Dale Earnhardt on the restarts, Jerry. He jumped out there in a hurry.
There's Robert Presley, that black and white numeral car number 59, the Oldsmobile.
And Jared's very smart for him to jump out there. The lap car of Dave Resendez, as long as he can keep him between himself and the second place car, Jeff Burton, will make it a little bit easier for him.
Indeed, because Resendez is certainly a tough competitor on any track, and he's hard to pass. Right now, Burton is behind Resendez in the car number 79. There's Jeff Burton on the right of your screen. That's the Armor Meats Buick. He is trying to move on the inside of Dave Resendez.
Well, we understand that the Elton Sawyer car has been black flagged, but maybe there's something dragging on the Walton Meats car. He's the car, the driver that spun out there a moment ago, and here he comes into the pit. He was already 1 lap down, so a tough break for Elton Sawyer.
Alan Dillard owned car now on pit road. Elton Sawyer's had some great runs here at Martinsville Speedway, and he was the reason for that most recent caution flag, as they will work on that car in the pits. Robert Presley is certainly enjoying the best day of his brief Busch Series career. His car is slipping and sliding a little bit coming out of turn 4. The track's really got to be getting slick.
Yes, it is getting slick. I think maybe they're putting a little bit of oil and grease down on it along with the rubber, Jerry, and it is very slick, but still the inside groove is the place to be.
Chuck Bound, we mentioned earlier, has not had a great day. He is our current point leader, but the fellow who's having a wonderful day is Robert Presley. Robert Presley now, we'll show you the cars as they come out of turn 4. And we'll come at you. You pick out your favorite. There goes Dale Jarrett, Grissom, Bobby Dotter, Billy Standridge. His car's coming by. Tommy Ellis, who had trouble early on after a great qualifying effort. We call our field snapshot. You saw Chuck Bound, the very tail-end car, and our leader now coming into your picture out of turn 4.
So he has clear sailing out ahead of him. We mentioned Tommy Ellis. He still is in the lead lap, Jerry.
Lap time on our leader, Robert Presley, comes from a great racing stock technician. His father, Bob Presley, a great late model stock car, late model sportsman ace from around Asheville, North Carolina, in the Hickory area. We clock our leader here, 21.7 seconds. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's only about 3/4 of a second slower than he qualified, Jerry. That's a pretty good clip as far as we are into this race. We're past the halfway point.
Robert Presley has a brother, Charlie Presley, who is a key crew member for Harry Gant's Winston Cup crew. And here's the car number 12 of Jeff
to move up beside him.
Since Ed Barrier has joined forces with John Farrow, the car owner of that machine out of Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, they have really run well here in the last few weeks of Busch Series racing for 1990. He set on the pole at Orange County back in August.
Caution is on the track, Jerry. Once again, but for the 7th time today, debris on the racetrack again, we understand.
7th caution of the afternoon, and now the Pontiac safety car will pull back out in turn 3 in front of Robert Presley. Some of these cars that come into the turns, that yellow curbing you see just along the inside perimeter of the turns, that is a concrete curbing about 3.5 to 4 inches high.
And you don't want to get your left wheels down on that. You want them down as close to it as you can possibly get, but you don't want your left wheel to hit it. And here's a helicopter coming in, the Air Care.
That's a trauma team out of North Carolina Baptist Hospital that staffs many of the tracks here in the Carolinas. That Air Care team goes to Wilkesboro as well as Martinsville and Rockingham, and they're on hand, and certainly the drivers love to have them here, although they don't want to have to use them. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, I'm with Sam Ard, owner and crew chief of the Armor Star Buick that Jeff Burton is driving. You've got a great day so far, Sam.
He's doing great right now. I just hope everything finishes up like this.
Why, on the green flag, the restarts, does the 59 car Presley, he jumps out in front, but in about 10 laps, your car starts reeling him in. Is that because of your chassis setup?
Well, no, not really. He takes off so slow, he gets a good jump on him. But after that, Jeff starts reeling him back in. Jeff can outrun him. The only thing about it is getting by him. I don't want him to burn up things and use up the brakes right now.
Oh, you're just kind of taking it easy, huh?
We're sort of taking it easy right now.
Okay, he sees us taking it easy. I don't know about that, Jerry.
Well, he might be. If he's taking it easy, that cannot be a good sign for anyone else out there. And there is Chuck Bound. Now, if the race were to end right now, Chuck Bound on 5-cylinder steam leaving the pits, he could lose 63 points to Jimmy Hensley, but he would not lose the point lead. But Ned...
Looked like there might have been some smoke coming out of Kenny Wallace's car. A couple of cars got by him. He was running in the 5th position, and both Steve Grissom and Dale Jarrett got by him. Now Kenny trying to run up on the outside of Jarrett going into the turn back there, but don't believe that'll work for him. Now he'll try it on the inside.
Take a look at what happened on the restart. Watch the car number 36 will be to the right of your screen as they come, just coming into your picture there, the smoke coming out of that car. As the green flag, he's coming up through the gears now, and the car now really puffing smoke as Dale Jarrett makes a move. And we'll keep an eye on Kenny Wallace's car. And remember, Wallace currently 5th in the point standings.
Seems to be running okay now, Jerry, but I don't know what that smoke situation was on the restart. But anyway, it's not working for him too good right now.
There's Jeff Burton, the second-place car, and now Jimmy Hensley. And Hensley comes
they
into
make
contact.
and around they go.
Whoa, something. Hensley is involved with Dave Resendez. Car spinning and slamming. Cecil Eunice, the car number 19 up there. Tommy Dotter's involved. Tommy Ellis, the car number 56 of Dave Mater. And Mater tries to get his car refired. The leaders are over in turn 2. Turn 3 and 4 nearly completely blocked. There's Patty Moise coming down through the grass trying to avoid all those cars spinning.
And she alertly moves the car to the left there and don't go across that curbing, Jerry, because it could have done some damage underneath of the Buick, so that was very smart of her to drive around on the inside of that. And here's the leader. He's almost stopped as he goes into the turn because it was pretty well blocked, but most of those cars have moved away. Let's watch it as they go into the turn. Here's Jeff Burton on the inside of the Dave Resendez car. Hensley runs in there and tries to take advantage of an opening, but they touch and around they go, and then everybody coming in behind him starts putting on their brakes and hitting each other, and so we had a mess up there.
And we just started talking about how much Hensley could gain today because of the misfortunes for Chuck Bound, and suddenly Hensley has problems up in turn 3. Tough break there for Jimmy Hensley. Those cars are still running. A good move, we might mention, by Steve Grissom. Both he and Dale Jarrett were able to stay on the inside of the track and hug that concrete curb and get through it with very minimal sheet metal damage only on those cars. And they are now being shown the 3rd and 4th spots, respectively, as Robert Presley, our leader.
Jeff Burton is second.
There is Mike Porter's car.
Well, there's the car number 35, which is
Mike Porter out of Princeton, West Virginia.
Yeah, Mike was just him that looks like somebody's brake duck is dragging back behind his car.
Well, it's not, he comes down to get that duct removed. It's not duck season here at Martinsville Speedway. There's certainly some of the tubing they use to keep the brakes cool. As Porter makes his way to pit road, we are under caution here again at Martinsville Speedway. Just a little over 40 laps to go. Don't go away. We got a lot of action to come. We are back at Martinsville Speedway, still under caution. The safety crews are cleaning up from a multi-car crash up in turns 3 and 4. Just out
of the lap car of Dave Resendez, and Jimmy Hensley runs in there pretty hard, Jerry, and loses it. It looks like he tapped the car number 79 of Resendez, and then everybody behind him started putting their brakes on and hitting each other, and a number of cars spun out behind Jimmy Hensley.
Well, let's check in and see just how much damage was done to some of those cars with our pit reporter, Benny Parsons.
Jerry, I'm with Bobby King, the crew chief on Jimmy Hensley's Fast Fair Oldsmobile. How much damage to the car, Bobby?
I think it's all sheet metal, I hope. I think we'll be all right. We just got a long way to get back to the front.
You must have been feeling pretty good about the thing. Chuck Bound's having trouble today. You're second in the points. But all of a sudden, your day starts turning bad.
Well, that happens in racing. You know, it ain't over till it's over.
Okay, we'll see what happens later on.
Bobby King, a veteran crew chief, former Winston Cup crew chief, now providing the wrenches, the chief wrench on that Jimmy Hensley car. And, of course, Robert Presley, where he was at the beginning of the race up front, and Jeff Burton second place with the Nestle's Crunch Pontiac. Once again, we see Dale Jarrett, who qualified back in the pack. Remember at Darlington, he started at 28th spot and came on to win it. Today, he started 22nd and is now being shown in 3rd place with 44 laps remaining here at Martinsville Speedway.
Kenny Wallace right behind him. in the car number 36 running in 4th place. So Kenny didn't come into the 5th. So whatever that smoke was on the last restart, Jerry, didn't appear to bother him that much. But the fans will not see the car number 31 that was up there in 3rd place. He did make a pit stop. Steve Grissom was black flagged, so apparently he had some sheet metal against the tire or something, and the NASCAR officials saw that, and he had to come into the pit. So Steve Grissom, who was running 3rd, is back in the back of the pack now. And there you see Dale Jarrett, who back on lap 20 was 14th, his steady progression toward the front, and now just past lap 105 at 108, he is being shown in 3rd spot. Dale Jarrett currently having the Nestle Pontiac in 3rd. We mentioned Grissom. You said, Ned, he is now being shown back in 13th position by virtue of that unscheduled stop under this caution flag. Apparently some sheet metal rubbing, and yes, the NASCAR people black flagging to prevent a tire from being cut on his car. Well, Jerry, we understand that Kenny Wallace missed the shift on that last restart and maybe revved the engine up a little bit or something that caused that smoke. We see that car number 85 in the right of the screen there. That's Bobby Moon. That fellow started back in 27th position and is now running in 5th place. Young driver that has a lot of potential in this sport, showing in the top 5. Bobby Moon of the Englander Woodstove Oldsmobile, and young man from not far from this racetrack as he's trying to get a good top 5 finish. Back to green flag racing. That is Bobby Hamilton, a lap car. Hamilton is showing to be about 8 or 9 laps down. He is racing up front. And Kenny Wallace is in trouble coming off of turn 2. Something happened again to his car. He slowed down in front of someone. There he sits now. He has been hit by a couple of cars, and he was just a sitting duck, Jerry, as he came off of turn 2. Something was wrong with the car, and he got hit by a couple of cars coming off the turn. A great move by Hensley to avoid Wallace. Let's take a look again and see what happened to Kenny Wallace. Okay, there he is. You can see the car going very slow, and Tom Peck gets into him. There's L.D. Ottinger, who has made a great run and come up through the field and knocked the Kenny Wallace car back out of the way of the other traffic. Kenny, now after a great run here today, having his problems. Still on the racetrack. You can see a lot of sheet metal damage to the Cox wood-preserving Pontiac. On both sides, sheet metal damage everywhere you look on that car. Kenny Wallace might have gotten a little bit of help spinning out there at turn 2. That time, a couple of cars, it's very, very tight coming off the corner. It's some cars getting together, but Kenny Wallace now brings that Cox treated lumber car down pit road. They have re-signed Cox for 1991. The colors will change on that car. It'll be an all-black car with yellow and green numbers highlighting that car for next year. A crew down working on that machine. He was Rookie of the Year in 1989 in the Busch Series. Talking about short track racing action. These cars were so pretty and well manicured when we started the afternoon. Take a look at these cars come by. Yeah, the 79 going by, 33, and then there's the Tom Peck car involved. Ottinger's cars going by, Jimmy Spencer, Nemechek, there's Hensley, Grissom. He was black flagged because of some sheet metal damage. I mean, everybody out there has got some dings. Take a look at Dave Mater going by. His is a modified now in the front end. There's Ed Barrier. That's not unusual here at Martinsville, Jerry, because there is a lot of contact here. They just can't help it. Of course, Rick Mast on that first lap, his car banged up, the Raven Boats Buick. The Tom Peck car, who is running in 5th place, is being black flagged because of the damage on the right front of his car. We see him coming into the turn there. And let's go down to the pits and finish Carson.
Ned, fans, you watch the shows, and NASCAR black flags their car because sheet metal is rubbing the tire. And they said, why did they come in? Let me show you why they come in. Sheet metal was rubbing the right rear tire on Kenny Wallace's Pontiac. Look at this. How many more laps do you think it would take with sheet metal to wear through that tire and the car go into a spin? That's why NASCAR black flags, to avoid problems like this. And that guy thought he was going to have a nice, easy day playing solitaire in the pits. No pit stop spinning. We're working you, big guy. Then you're wearing me out, Jerry. You get back down here. I need up there where it's air conditioned. The buffet opens at 5 o'clock, Benny. So we're getting ready for more racing action after this. But right now, we're under caution for once again at Martinsville Speedway. Robert Bresley showing the way, holding off the youngster, Jeff Burton. Back in Martinsville, Virginia, the Martinsville Speedway, 8 Clay Earls, fine facility, a half-mile track here just above the North Carolina line and the edge of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Great Busch Series racing action and a wonderful afternoon for a number of drivers, and
not so great days for some others. And the car number 79 of Dave Resendez a little bit banged up and showing a little bit of smoke and possibly some fenders rubbing there.
Yeah, and he might have a wheel bearing going out on that car, Jerry. We'll take a look at him as the green flag comes down. And Bobby Moon is fourth, and there's L.D. Ottinger in the fifth position in car number 2. And Jerry, he had to take a provisional spot to get in this race.
L.D. Ottinger started back in 31st spot. We talked about the car number 79 may have a wheel bearing problem. He has been showing some smoke. Bobby Moon, the car number 85, that young driver on the late model stock car ranks. Back in 24th spot on lap 20, made the progression all the way to 4th on lap 117. And no surprise at all, because the crew chief on that car is a fellow by the name of Mike Hillman, who was the crew chief for Tommy Ellis when he won the series championship just a couple of years ago.
Here's Jimmy Hensley and Steve Grissom, car number 31. Steve Grissom bouncing off the inside curbing. They're trying to make their way back up through the pack. And here is Hensley, car number 25 on the inside. It looked like car number 31 might have hit the wall a little bit early. Custom's out. And here we do see the car number 31 get into the wall, and caution is out once again.
Contact there from the right side of the Big Mama Meat Snacks Oldsmobile into the concrete here at Martinsville Speedway. Caution for the 10th time today, and Robert Presley has got to be smiling, as they have to be in his pits. Let's check in where Benny Parsons is standing.
Jerry, I'm down with Ricky Pearson, who's talking to Robert Presley on the radio. Ricky, you started up on the front row, and nobody's caught you yet.
Well, we've been kind of lucky, I guess, Benny. A lot of people's had a lot of trouble, but, Robert's run a real good race, and, his team's really come together, and hopefully we'll stay up front.
What are you going to do about that 12 car behind you? He seems to be gaining a little bit after about 10 or 15 laps.
Well, maybe finish under caution or something.
Okay, we'll try.
No, Sam Martin's won a lot of races up here at Martinsville, and, Sam's the crew chief on that car, and, he's going to be tough to beat.
He is going to be tough to beat, Jerry.
Indeed, Sam Ard, a 5-time winner at Martinsville Speedway, and, of course, having won 2 national championships here. And now they're clearing the debris up there. Some more of that brake ducting being cleared by some of the safety crews down in the turn 1.
And, Jerry, it was not a fact of them just hanging that brake ducting on there loosely. Those cars are so banged up, they've just torn it loose. They've got inside under the fenders and torn that stuff loose.
Like they've taken a giant can opener to some of these cars. The lap's winding down.
Time for him to get up there. We've only run about 4 or 5 laps since the green was re-shown, and Jeff Burton trying to get up there in a hurry and work on him. I think Jeff Burton would rather see this race go green the rest of the way. All of those cautions have hurt him.
Well, Robert Presley grew up running the short tracks at Asheville, North Carolina, and Hickory, North Carolina, and like his father, Bob Presley, catching him is one thing, but passing him is something entirely different. And we've seen Rick Mass,
Detroit Gasket, Oldsmobile.
Now, Ottinger started in 31st spot. He was in 25th on lap 20, gradually moved up into the top 10, and now just past the 130 lap mark, he is currently being shown in 5th place. And then in 6th spot, the car number 31. There's Resendez, the lap car. The 6th spot is the car number 31, the Big Mama Meat Snacks Oldsmobile, for Steve Grissom, 2-time winner this year. Then comes Jimmy Spencer in the car number 75. And a little contact out of turn 2, man. We told you mentioned Jeff Burton was going to get up there and mix it up with him, and we're going to see. I said catching him was one thing, passing him something else, but apparently these 2 young drivers both hungry for that first Busch Series win as laps are winding down. Let's take a look and see what happens.
Okay, as they go into turn 1, Presley takes his groove, but he slips a little bit, Jerry, going in there, and Jeff Burton tries to get on the inside of it and hits the curving a little bit and bounced up into him, but he did get off the gas. But now he needs to get aggressive. There's only 17 laps to go when they come back around this time. And look, Presley's car is getting loose. It is definitely loosening up, coming off. Presley goes a little wide. Here comes Jeff Burton down on the inside.
Jeff Burton makes the challenge, and 1 car will fit in the groove. They come together in turn 3. Presley spins. No, he hangs on. Here is Dale Jarrett trying to pass Presley for 2nd spot. Presley back in the throttle, and Jarrett on the outside. The battle now for 2nd spot. Jarrett the 32, Presley the 59. Down in turns 1 and 2.
Oh, boy. It almost had to happen the way Presley's car was beginning to slip. Now they're coming up on the car number 33. Jarrett's going to try to pin Presley down behind that car, but Presley beat him off of the turn.
It doesn't get any better than this. Busch Series racing action at its best. It'll be 10 laps to go next time by. There is Robert Presley. Car number 31, a broken Panhard bar. Part of the chassis there broken in the Big Mama Meat Snacks car. You see that right rear how that rear end is moving around in the car. Let's take a look again at what happened up in turn 3.
Well, Jeff Burton got up beside of Presley, and car number 8, Bobby Hamilton, has spun, but you can see the car number 12 go on the inside of the car number 59, gets him sideways, but Presley gets it straightened out, and then Jarrett pulls up on the outside. So there's things happening all over the racetrack, Jerry, and caution is out again.
Oh, they cannot believe about possibly going to some different racing teams for 1991, but he's got to be happy where he is right now. Laps winding down. You saw 3 to go.
Well, this certainly won't hurt his cause, Jerry, as he tries to sell himself to another team, or if that's what he's going to do. Winning here today would be a great thing to have in his resume.
2 laps to go, and the battle now heating up back there between Dale Jarrett and Robert Presley for a second spot. There is Presley and Jarrett, expecting to see the white flag for Jeff Burton. Well, the folks in Omaha, Nebraska, the Armor Meats Company sponsoring that young man have got to be excited as they really mix it up for second place. White flag waving, final lap for Jeff Burton, 23 years of age, from South Boston, Virginia. And there is Kim Brown, his girlfriend. You heard moments ago, she was in tears, and they are waiting for this final 100-yard dash to the checkered flag, and he holds on.
Robert Presley went very high. Dale Jarrett ran into the back of him, but here's Jeff Burton winning the race. A race for second? Well, I believe Presley won.
And it's jubilation in the pits, in the Armor Meat pits in the back straightaway. Sam Ard, car owner and crew chief, and that young man, Jeff Burton, and he is excited. Is he happy or why he's waving that crew? And the fans here in the front stretch are excited too. Let's check in with Benny.
Kimberly, he did it!
I knew it! I knew it! I knew he could do it! Can I go over there? I gotta give him a big kiss.
Is this the most exciting day of your life?
The ultimate! The ultimate!
Okay, I'll see you over there.
Thank you!
And she's not happy one bit. No siree. And I guarantee you they're going to mob that young man in just a moment in victory lane. Jeff Burton winning. We'll hear from him when we come back after this. Point in the race, Ned Jarrett, battle for the lead.
And Robert Presley got a little loose off of 2, and Jeff Burton ran up on the inside going into turn 3, and they touched. Presley goes sideways, but he doesn't lose it completely. He hangs on to second place.
Now, you've seen some fast cars, and take a look at this. Kimberly Brown, the outdoor hurdle. That is the girlfriend of Jeff Burton trying to get to victory lane. She's up, and over the wall. On her way to the car, she is trying to get there to get to Jeff Burton. She can't get through. She says, let me through, guys. Let me through. Well, let's go down where Benny Parsons is there.